So, weird spot. You played on that Iowa sideline. That was a great defense. It felt like a really good culture. That was probably a hard place to leave. What made leaving there for here the right decision?
I think it was the right decision this year. Oh, my fault. I'm covering the mic. I think it was a great decision this year just because, I did my process at Iowa. I graduated a Hawkeye. I love my experience there. But, after 4 years, I just felt like it was time for me to move on and go explore something different for my last year of college football. And it's kind of crazy that we did play Vanderbilt at a bowl game, but how the transfer portal opened up and it all folded out. This was the best place for me to be. And I actually, it's funny. I ran into Coach Black after the game. He just said what's up because he was the coach at Toledo when he was recruiting me out of high school. So he just said what's up to me. I said what's up to him. Hey, I hit the portal. I'm at Vanderbilt.
What was your impression of Vanderbilt when you played against them?
Good team, very physical. I think. I don't know. I can't speak necessarily to it, but when we were on that sideline, I guess being a Hawkeye at that time and what they were telling us, it was like they don't think that we can hang. So, that's kind of like my mindset going into it. But they were definitely a physical team when we played them, a great outfit. They got a good coach. Now I got a good coach in Coach Lee. They had a great coach in Coach Lee, and they preached physicality, and they were really physical when we played them, especially up front.
What was it about Coach Lee that made you want to come to Vanderbilt?
I don't know. When I met him, he's like a poet in a way. He's like a real savant. Like if you really sit down and talk to him, he'll hit you with something and you'll be like, what does that even mean? But it really makes sense though. You know what I'm saying? It really do make sense. And when me and my mom took the visit here and we were sitting there in the office talking to him, we had a great conversation. He dropped some gems on me. And even my mom said just his perspective and his outlook of how he thinks of things and how he looks at things, it's like, it makes you think. And I like that. I like that about him.
Have you gone back and forth with some of your now teammates about that bowl game at all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. In the indoor, I forgot when it was. It might have been after an OTAs we do with no pads or whatever. And now it might have been after a workout. He brought up all the transfers and introduced himself. And he brought me up. Of course, I said I was from Iowa. They all, boo, whatever. I said, man, we gave y'all belts. So I don't want to hear none of that. But, it's cool though, but we get a lot of good jokes in the locker room about it, Some dudes still a little salty over it, which that don't affect me. I'm gonna get my bull ring in the mail, so but we're gonna go get a better one this fall, so I'm excited for that.
What's it been like just coming in here and also learning the scheme, the defense that Coach Gregory has?
It's been great. We do a lot more stuff than we did at Iowa for sure. And I feel like Coach Parker from Iowa, our defensive coordinator there, and our DC here, they're very similar in the sense of they're aggressive. They want to get after the quarterback, and I feel like, man, that's a great situation to be in where you got an aggressive-minded defensive coordinator who wants to get after the offense and wants to make them plays in the backfield, get picks, get sacks, pressure the quarterback. That works even better for me and for the defense, so I'm all for it. I'm all for his mindset.
Did familiarity with Vanderbilt through the bowl game have anything to do with you being here? Are you not here if you don't see something from that, or did it
not
matter at all?
It didn't matter at all. Really just entering the time in the portal, everything's hectic, but just when I saw Vanderbilt reached out, I knew what opportunity it was, First of all, great education. You got SEC ball. You got a great team with a great head of the team. And we're building for something great, and I wanted to be a part of something that was really building towards something great. And something that we talk about in our meetings and all that stuff is really trying to build the best defensive line in the nation, trying to build the best defense in the nation, and try to be national champions. And that's not something that we really talked about at my last spot. And it's I like that here because it's we have those goals and we see them as real goals, and we're really working to push towards those goals. So I love it.
What was that like from the moment you knew you were playing Vanderbilt in the bowl, to all the film studies of that offense, to playing them? How challenging were they? What did you think about playing them, especially compared to some other teams you played?
Well, coming from, I've been saying this to all my friends and stuff, coming from the Big Ten to the SEC, they always say the SEC is different in a way, and it's SEC probably got bigger dudes, but every team has bigger dudes. Like every team in the Big Ten has a monster, and I'm sure every team in SEC, they might have a few monsters, you know what I'm saying? But like, ball is ball at the end of the day. So, you know, a lot of all O-linemen are going to be aggressive. All O-linemen are going to be nasty. We played nasty O-linemen in the Big Ten when I was at Iowa, and we're going to play nasty O-linemen when we play this season in the SEC. So it's really no difference. But Vandy had a good O-line when we played them. 72, I forgot, I don't really know his name, but I know he's declaring for the draft this year. He was a good player. And, you know, we did a good job in that bowl game, like getting after them in the run and getting after them in the pass, but that doesn't like neglect how good their group is and how aggressive their group is for sure.
How much of a headache was it facing Diego and just all the things he could do on the spur of the moment?
Yeah, man, I never seen, you know, you watch film, but it's like, you see, they had a whole cut up of like, we call them like almost like one-off plays when he like, there was a play against Missouri when he ran all the way this way and he came back all the way that way. And it's like, man, that's cool and all, but we're going to keep him in the pocket. We did not keep him in the pocket at all. And I actually missed a sack that game, and it still kind of eats at me to this day. I don't know if I necessarily forgot. I think I might have won on the edge. He scrambled that way, and I thought one of our guys was going to get him. He ain't get him. He came all the way back this way, and I'm over here. I'm trying to line him up. I did not line him up. So you know what I'm saying? He got a strong base on him. So I didn't get him down that time, but he actually had a long ass run on us in the second half to kind of really kickstart their drive. So I mean, I don't know how they stopped him. I don't know how we could, but man, we did it. But keep him in the pocket, that's hard, bro.
I mean, when you get out there and see him, he's not the biggest guy.
Not at all.
You're just like, okay, this is, we can do this. Right?
My
Because
fault.
You got to stop everybody, right? I mean,
Nah, he was definitely small. When I was out there, I remember walking on the sideline because like I forgot what the call was. It was a penalty or something. Diego was talking to the refs, and I was standing right there because I wanted to see what they was talking about. I don't want him to influence the call or whatever. But he was like, you know, he ain't that big, but you know what I'm saying? He's a good player, so heart over height all the time. If you could be the player that you're supposed to be, then you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Height don't matter. He made plays. They went 10-2 last year with him at the helm. So, you know what I'm saying? All respect to him.